the Redskins would put 29 unanswered points on the board, and we're still in the first half. That's Roberts in motion now. They're lining him up as a wide receiver, Burns rather, setting up the screen pass, and Donis, and caught and dropped by Burns. Burns couldn't handle it at the 25-yard line. Third down and 17 for the Redskins.
Yeah, Burns tried to go down and get it, but the ball was thrown right at his knees. You got to be careful sometimes as a quarterback that when you're backpedaling and stuff that you get enough on the ball, and sometimes when you're thrown off your back foot, you don't, or off balance, you just don't get enough on the ball, and that's what happened there.
Cochran on the far side. Finnegan on the near side. Back to throw. Donis once again looking over the middle. He's got Finnegan. Touchdown! Touchdown! 25 yards. Catch. Finnegan. And for Finnegan, that is his second touchdown catch of the afternoon. The first one was 34 yards long.
And that's what we call the classic post pattern. And when we get this up on replay, maybe after the extra point try, I think John Trumer's going to try an extra point here. We want to show you this because this is really an extra point attempt, or basically a post pattern. And he ran right to the post, and the ball was delivered perfectly by Jim Donis. Here's Trumer attempting the kick right now.
He's a perfect 2 for 2 so far. Snap is down, kick is up, and the kick is true.
Trumer's kick is good. With 1:13 remaining in the second quarter.
Well,
1:13
we get
left.
a chance, we want to show this to you because you can't diagram this any better than the way it was run. Okay, now, as he goes back to pass, watch where he is. Here's the post pattern coming right off on the slant, right into the post. The ball is delivered perfectly, and he's right there. He beat Dave Mascarenas, the corner, cleanly. I think Mascarenas was looking for an out. He went in instead, and he wasn't expecting it. Another 6 points.
36-0. This score. Redskins leading Moriah. Well, when I talked with Coach Bill Mitchell on Wednesday, and whenever Bill Mitchell thinks that he can give the Redskins a game, he clams up. He's not going to give you a lot of information, and he gave me very little information, so I had the feeling as though he was expecting to come to Ken Wilson Field and really push the Redskins as much as they could be pushed. He didn't anticipate a 36-point first-half effort by the Redskins.
Well, I don't really think they, and this has to do with scouting. I don't think they got a lot out of the Ticonderoga game. I don't think their scouting staff got a lot out of the Ticonderoga game because the game was so one-sided so quickly. And, this is the other side of the coin. When you don't play your regulars for a full game, you really can't get a good feel for how good that team really is. And, Saranac Lake, had a big lead early against Ticonderoga, rested a lot of they had their second string in by the end of the first quarter, and I don't know if they really got a good feel for how good this Saranac Lake team is.
Redskins have so many different weapons to go to, and you know what? Because I've seen some of the coaching staff and some of the scouts here for Peru, they may have the same problem next Saturday. Here
it comes from the front. You see that nice break that time, and Mascarenas was not expecting an inside break that time. Right at the break, you could see he was not expecting that.
1st and 10 for Moriah from their own 25-yard line. Running it up the middle, that is Sprague. Sprague into the secondary, and Sprague will pick up 13 yards to the 39-yard line of Moriah.
Yeah, and I think they're going to see some openings come up now with the running game because Saranac Lake's going to play them to pass. So they're going to be able to run effectively if they can break the line of scrimmage against the defensive line of Saranac Lake. But I'll tell you, the defensive line of Saranac Lake has really played well, especially against the pass.
Look who's playing the free safety position for
Jim
the Redskins.
Donis.
Jim Donis, number 11. Coming out for Saranac Lake is Josh Schwed, number 83. That is Sprague once again. Sprague met at the line of scrimmage by Brett Foster, and the rest of the Redskins will join in on the tackle, including number 13, Jeremy Rich.
Yeah, and I think that, again, they want to run the ball. They really need to run the ball, but the score says you're going to have a tough time doing it, and of course, if you're going to pass the ball, you better be on target because this Redskin team is doing a great job defending against the pass here. The only thing I can say is Brian Wright had an opportunity to put his team back in this game, even ever so slightly, by scoring. And when he dropped that ball, he may have dropped a lot of the spirits of Moriah at the same time.
Well, Moriah will call a timeout with only 39 seconds left in the first half. At the half, we're going to have an opportunity to speak with Joe Cavallero, the coach of the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks, and they were in Plattsburgh last night. They took on Seton Catholic. We'll tell you how the outcome of that game was. Also, we'll take a look at the Section 7 schedule for today, some of the other games from last night. We'll also look at Section 10, and we'll take a look down south towards the Capital Region, Section 2, and possible opponents for the Class C titleist out of Section 7 come playoff time, which begins on the 11th of November.
Wow. It's coming real fast.
It is. And I want to remind you, too, that Roy and I will be making the trip to Peru next Saturday to the Apple Bowl, Saranac Lake and the Indians. That game will be seen on a tape delay later on Saturday evening. Second down and 10 for Moriah from their own 39-yard line. Back to throw once again, Nephew. Nephew being chased out of the pocket, runs into his own offensive lineman, and it's intercepted by Mark Van Deen.
Nephew's pass intended for right.
And again, you know, you're talking about when should you throw the ball and when should you throw it away. And the case that always happens is you try to make a play when there's no play to be made. And he was getting all sorts of pressure from the defensive line of scrimmage from Saranac Lake and tries to throw it anyway. And a nice leaping interception that time by Saranac Lake.
Well, 31 seconds left
I like that.
in the first half.
Interception graphic. I like that.
Woo. Redskins still have 2 timeouts remaining, Roy. Full house backfield. However, Moriah has wasted all their 3 timeouts, and Jim Doan is setting wisely right now. He doesn't want to run the score up in the first half, and he's going to knee it down. The clock will continue to roll. The Redskins will have to get off one more play. They'll have to execute one more play.
I don't think so.
No, they don't.
I don't think so. I think at this point they'd only kneel down anyway, so let it run down, and let's end this right now. I'll tell you. where do we begin? 36-0 was not in the cards this week. This is a legitimate state playoff team. I'm sorry, but it's time we better go out on the limb here because, you know, we've been sitting here going, are they really that good? Are they really that good? They're that good. This is a 3-1 team that's done very well this year, this Moriah team, and all of a sudden Saranac Lake is all over the place on them. They have been beating them at just about every skill position on the field, and, you know, Moriah, when I look back, Moriah has not played badly. I think Saranac Lake has just executed well. I mean, not even well. They've executed great.
You know what, though? Looking at the Redskins, I don't think Saranac Lake is playing over their heads right now.
No.
I think they're playing as well as they can play, and they're giving Moriah everything that they can handle. And, Roy, this is the same Moriah team in week number 1 that lost to Peru by only 3 points. At the half, it is 36-0, Saranac Lake leading Moriah. High school football today being brought to you on Cable Channel 22 by Adelphia Cable, your link to everything. And they now offer long-distance telephone service, 10 cents per minute with a $4.95 monthly fee or 14 cents per minute with no monthly fee. Adelphia Cable offers 24-hour service 7 days a week with an on-time guarantee. Again, at the half, 36-0, the Redskins leading Moriah. We'll have our halftime show. High school football continues on Cable Channel 22 in just a moment.
What is the secret of happiness? Realizing that everything is interconnected. So all living things are connected to each other.
Well, that too. I mean, Adelphia is connected to everything. Your TV, phone, computer, even home security. Adelphia is your link for everything. I get vibrations just thinking about it.
That would be your pager.
Oh, yes.
Mention them.
And welcome back again at the half. It is 36-0, Saranac Lake Redskins all over Moriah. And Roy, this started very early on for the Saranac Lake Redskins as we have a chance right now to enjoy some of the halftime festivities with the Saranac Lake cheerleaders. Dudonis to Tommy Finnegan from 34 yards out, 9:21 in the opening quarter, made it 6-0. Jeremy Rich, the point after try, 7-zip. Charlie Martin running on the outside. You've said it since week number 1 against Tupper Lake. The Redskins have been very successful running the football outside rather than on the inside. 49 yards later, 13-0. Rich, the point after try, made it 14-0. 47 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Donis, a 1-yard touchdown run, 20-0. And Roberts, the 2-point conversion, busted play, 22-zip. In the second quarter, Charlie Martin, again, Roy, on the outside, 3:38 played, a 40-yard touchdown run. Once he got into the secondary, we saw Moriah try to reach in, grab the football away. He was too strong, broke it free 40 yards later. Trumer, the point after try, and then with 1:13 left in the second quarter, Tommy Finnegan made the 35-yard touchdown catch from Donuts on the in pattern. Secondary thought he was going out, 35-0. Trumer, the point after try, 36-0. So if you look at the scoring, there's 1, 2 touchdown catches and 1, 2, 3 touchdown runs. That is a balanced offense for Saranac Lake.
And if any of the Peru scouts are listening, I'll tell you right now, if you want to beat Saranac Lake, there's one way you can do it. Find a way to stop the outside running of Ryan Roberts and Charlie Martin. That is the only way. Nobody has been able to neutralize them on the outside yet this year. And until somebody does, Saranac Lake's not going to lose.
Well, earlier this week, I had a chance to speak with the Tupper Lake coach, Joe Cavallaro. And Tupper Lake is watching this game very closely because they're in a Class D race with Moriah. Tupper Lake, heading into this weekend's play, had a record of 2-2 and trailing Moriah by just 1 game in the Section 7 Class D race. Moriah came into this contest with a record of 3-1. We talked about the Section 7 Class D race as well as the matchup yesterday with Seton Catholic and some of what's gone right for the Tupper Lake Lumberjacks thus far. Joe, you go into a Friday night game against Seton Catholic. You're 2-2 on the season. That's an impressive record in itself, but I think what's really fun with this Tupper Lake team, it's a young squad, but each and every week they learn something a little bit more. And it looks as though this year you're really having a fun time coaching this squad.
Well, I always have, and yeah, it's good. It is a young group of kids. We've starting to grow up. We're seeing a little change in maturity. I think they realized last week you take no team lightly in the league or in any league because you can get beat. And Saranac Central last week proved that because they came out and they really took it to us before we made some adjustments.
With the exception of the Saranac Lake game against Peru, against Saranac, against Beekmantown, you have been able to rush the football successfully.
Yes, I know the score of Peru was 28-6, but we talk about later. Probably we should have 21 points. We averaged close to 6 yards per carry on the ground against Peru, which told me a lot about the offense, and I thought we did a good job with that.
Jason Fuller and Mike Odette pretty much handling much of the ball responsibilities out of the backfield for you.
Jason Ham and
Ham too.
Jay Fuller, Brendan Hayes. We have Corey Lanthier, Peter Lemire. We have a real good mix of quite a few athletes. We don't have to go. We don't have a one go-to guy. We've got a few guys that can take the situation now, and I've really seen some runners mature in the last couple of weeks.
We talked earlier about Justin Cody, your quarterback. You're hoping that he was going to keep you in the game, not make many mistakes, but when you need a big play, he's been there for you this season.
Oh yeah, Justin did well Saturday. We had some two big pass plays in that game that were key, and Justin set up well and made a nice connection to Sean Savard, and that set us up in the game.
A couple of days ago, I was talking with some of the sports people involved in the CVAC in Section 7. We were talking about a defensive player of the year. When come up, Adam, he has played some outstanding defensive end for you this season.
Yeah, we moved Adam. Dennis wanted to move Adam out to the end, and I think it was a good job. And he's made some rookie mistakes at defensive end, but he's an aggressive kid, and he learns and he adjusts, and we see improvement also with him as we're moving along through the season.
I'm sure you're going to watch today's game with Saranac Lake and Moriah. That impacts you some with the Class D race,
yes.
But is it too early to care about what Moriah is doing, and you've really got to concentrate on what Tupper Lake is doing?
Really, yes, because I guess beginning of the year, everybody's picked Moriah and saying we were going to be down, and the kids that we got this year, I really like their attitude. You know, they're going into the games realizing we are young, but we're going to give it everything we've got, and if they come off with 100%, I think we're going to be satisfied. I mean, we love to win, but if we don't, and we played hard, I think we'll be satisfied.
Joe, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Joe Cavallaro, the Tupper Lake football coach. But I think Joe Cavallaro raised a good point. I mean, they've got to really be concerned about themselves, Tupper Lake, and not worry about what Moriah is going to do. However, on the flip side, though, I think Tupper Lake's got to be happy they faced Saranac Lake in week number 1 and not week number 5 of the Section 7 season.
Well, you know, they've got a lot of teams that they should be in contention with. One of the things, you know, they didn't win the game last night against Seton Catholic, but, you know, they were in that game. You know, they were competitive right into the fourth quarter, and actually at one point it tied the game before Seton Catholic finally got it in gear. Seton Catholic is a very banged-up team. They had a lot of people out with injuries last night, but they still were able to rise to the occasion at Bailey Avenue and pull a winner out of that contest. And that's going to be another passing attack that we're going to be seeing at some point as well. But in that game, Seton Catholic had scored a 32-yard pass from Ryan O'Connor to Keith Kane just before halftime. And then the Lumberjacks took advantage of a short Seton punt and marched 29 yards to tie the game on a Justin Cody quarterback sneak. Then Seton turns around, and the man who was quiet all game long was Chris Dubé. Remember that name. You'll hear it in a few weeks. And they wound up hitting Dubé right to the 5-yard line, gave it to Zach Adams. Zach Adams goes in. He's second in the CVAC in scoring coming into last night's game. And so they went up and had the extra point. At that point, they were leading 13-6. And then what do? O'Connor comes out and hits Dubé on a 35-yard scoring pass. And they basically put the game away at that point. Right side, Jason Ham for Tupper Lake, 138 yards rushing in that game.
He has played outstanding offensively for Tupper Lake. And some have called, you know, Tupper Lake's offense not the most innovative offense. But you know what? They've been able to run the football in every game except for week number 1 against Saranac Lake. And Joe Cavallero admitted to me after the interview that, you know, they didn't have the offense really working the way that they wanted it to work going into the high school football season. But in week number 2, and then again against Plattsburgh, against Peru, they ran the football very well. However, they lost that game because of turnovers, and they actually ran the football somewhat well against Seton Catholic. They fall to 2-3 on the year. Seton Catholic in the Class C race with Saranac Lake is now 3-2. We will have a chance to see the Knights towards the second to the last week of the regular season.
That's right. And another game we just found out late in the second quarter, Peru, who we're going to go visit at the Apple Bowl next week, is leading AuSable Valley by the score of 20-0, and that game not quite yet to halftime. Other games going on, Peru, by the way, is 4-0, AuSable Valley 1-3 coming into that matchup. Also going on, Saranac Central 0-4 at Beekmantown 1-3. Beekmantown got their first win last week, looking to make it 2 in a row. And then Ticonderoga at Plattsburgh High. I think that game was a 2 o'clock start this afternoon. Ticonderoga 2-2, Plattsburgh 1-3.
I think Ticonderoga needs a win over Plattsburgh. They were beat physically and they were beaten emotionally in their last game against Saranac Lake, losing 51-0. And they need that just to bring their spirits back up. They've still got a long way to go in this football season.
Well, you know, they thought that Corey DeZalia was going to take them a long way, and the truth of the matter is DeZalia wound up with 47 yards against Saranac Lake last week, and almost all of it was on the last drive of the game. And, you know, that's not what you want out of the person that you think is going to, you know, get you into the end zone.
Let's take a look at Section 10 from last night. Just one game, and that was Ogdensburg over Canton by a score of 14-6. Ogdensburg is now 3-1 on the year. Canton falls to 2-3 on the season.
And, you know, Ogdensburg right now, if Peru is going to be the Class B school, your North Country Super Bowl opponent in all likelihood is going to be Ogdensburg, because Ogdensburg has already beat the other 2 B schools, which are Governor and Canton, and they're at 3-1. The only team they've lost to is Watertown, and they gave Watertown a tussle, but Watertown's an A school. So Ogdensburg has set themselves up right now, and if the way it looks, it's going to be Ogdensburg against Peru in that B game. Okay, today in the Northern Athletic Conference, Messina's at Potsdam, St. Lawrence at Franklin Academy. Those were 1:30 starts. Watertown at Governor is a 2:30 start.
And
Section 2.
Let's move over to Section 2, and the reason why we are interested in Section 2 is because the Class C opponent out of Section 7 in the state playoff tournament, their first round opponent will be from Section 2. In Waterville, you know, a lot of questions going in for some obvious reasons on how well Waterville will respond this season. I think they've responded pretty well. They're 4-0.
Yeah, but they had a tussle in week 3, let me tell you, because they had to go up to Fonda. And at that time, Waterville was ranked number 1 in the state, and Fonda Fayetteville was ranked number 8 in the state. And actually, Fonda led that game, and it was a Chris Lee touchdown with about 2:31 left to go in the fourth quarter. and they won, and some defense as Fonda started trying to come back at the end of the game that won it for them 6-3. Then the next week they beat Voorheesville 34-0, so they're still 4-0.
Another team that we've become very familiar with from the Capital Region is Cambridge. They're 3-1 on the season. Their one loss came in week 3. They fell to Bellows Falls by a score of 28-12. And Jimmy Griffith ran the ball for 27 times for 215 yards.
He's a junior.
He's a junior, I know it. Sorry, John.
But the one thing I'm gathering from the information I've been reading about Cambridge is a young team this year. Apparently they lost a lot to graduation last year, and as a result of that, they're kind of young. In week 4, they beat Granville, who had previously been undefeated 18-16. So, you know, obviously they're going to be a team to contend with. They're 3-1 right now. Taconic Hills is a name that Saranac Lake is familiar with from a previous playoff encounter. Taconic Hills in week 3 lost to Mohannesson 44-14. Now Taconic Hills has been beaten up on teams, and Mohannesson is undefeated. And that's a name we haven't talked about a lot, but a lot of what I've been seeing have been the Saturday results, and I'm sure some of the games down in the Capital District are being played on Friday nights, and maybe Mohannesson plays a lot of their home games then. But they are undefeated as well right now. Week 4 last week, Taconic Hills beat Canajoharie 42-15, so Taconic Hills also 3-1 right now.
Well, we're going to take another timeout. When we return, we will have more of our halftime as we prepare for the second half. The Redskins leading Moriah in high school football on Cable Channel 22. We'll be right back after we hear from our sponsor, Adelphia Cable, in just a moment.
What is the secret of happiness? Realizing that everything is interconnected. So all living things are connected to each other.
Well, that too. I mean, Adelphia is connected to everything. Your TV, phone, computer, even home security. Adelphia is your link for everything. I get vibrations just thinking about it.
That would be your pager.
Oh, yeah.
Lake. It took Moriah to school in the first half. 36 unanswered points. 36-0 our score. I'm John Lundin along with Roy Christopherson. Again, our sponsor of high school football this afternoon is Adelphia Cable Channel 22. And Adelphia Cable offers 24-hour service 7 days a week with an on-time guarantee. I'll ask you right off, is it too late for Moriah to get back into this one?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just because of the fact that Saranac Lake is so solid defensively. But I think this is where, as a coach, you really have to start pulling your team together because you got to play next week too. And as badly beaten as they have been in the first half, I think you got to say to your team again, okay, let's try to win this half. Let's keep Saranac Lake off the board. Let's try to build some positives. You know, you don't want to say to them, you know, we can't win, but you want to say, okay, let's take it one series at a time and get back into this one.
Well, to start this, Moriah won the coin toss, and they decided that they wanted to start this one offensively. So that means that the Redskins will start the second half defensively or offensively. Jeremy Rich picked the ball up at the 35, stopped at the 34-yard line, and returned of 4 yards. And the Redskins, first down and 10.
First and 10 Redskins from their 39-yard
From their own 39-yard line.
And I know John Raymond, does not like to run the score up. So I suspect that we're going to see fairly conservative offense. But again, the other thing is, from a conditioning perspective, he's got to leave his first string in there a while. He really needs to, because he may need them all game next week.
Well, he runs out of the wishbone formation now with first-teamers. And they hand it off to number 24, Charlie Martin. Charlie Martin will pick up 5 on his first carry. Second down and 5 coming up for Saranac Lake.
Yeah. You know, I don't think that he, you know, that I know John Raymond, and I know John Raymond and Bill Mitchell are very fond of one another, and I know he doesn't want to run the score up on Bill Mitchell. But at the same time, I think that, you know, you still need to get these people some work and get them some conditioning, because they're going to need it next week. And, you know, they haven't had that opportunity. They really haven't so far this year.
I don't think they're going to put the football in the air as much in the second half as
I wouldn't think so.
Sedonis do in the first. Second down and 5. Brett Foster, the fullback, He barrels his way through for
Foster
4
carry.
more. He's short of a first down by about a yard. Third down, short
Tackle
1.
by
Redskins coming
Stotty.
right up.
A little pushing and shoving going on out there
Eagle
between
for
Tom Finnegan and Josh Java.
and 1.
Java giving Finnegan a little shove at the end of that. You know,
Finnegan's
the other
beaten
thing
twice.
is you got to worry about the frustration level on the part of the Moriah Vikings too. Is you got to be careful about that because you know they're a good team. They've got a lot of pride. They've had a good year so far, but they've had their face slapped today.
Well, you know, on the flip side for Moriah, they really don't lose anything. That's Rich. Rich will pick up a first down as he reaches midfield.
Jeremy Rich
Tupper Lake
carries
lost
for
to
Redskins
Seton
first
Catholic
down.
last night, 20-12. And Moriah is on their way to their second loss of the season. They'll fall to 3-2. However, in the Class D race, they still maintain their edge over the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, that's correct. And really, you know, that's going to be their game. That'll be their Super Bowl game. Is going to be Tupper Lake Moriah, and that's going to be the game that they really need to concentrate on.
I formation. Adonis running the option. That's Ryan Roberts looking to turn the corner on the far side, and he's out of bounds at the Moriah 49, maybe 48-yard line. Give him 1 or 2. Second down, a long second down play coming up for the Redskins.
Yeah, and that time for Moriah, it was Dan Meachin trying to get a hold of Ryan Roberts as he was going around the end, try to get him high, and that was a waste of time because he went sprawling and Roberts kept moving.
When we started this, I had noticed some of the Peru scouts towards the end zone, towards the highway. They're gone now. I'm not quite sure where they are, if they've taken their film home. And Roberts again with the pitch. Oh, he cuts it back inside. He's going to pick up a first down to the 30. And he's finally tackled at the Moriah 25-yard line, and that is a gain of 24.
That was a beautiful play. It's nice to be able to see how you do this. And, you know, this is nothing but sheer instinct. You know, you can't coach this. This is instinct. He goes to the right, and really Moriah had a defense very well. Realizes he's not going to get much there, finds the opportunity, cuts it back the other way. A really heads-up piece of running that time by Ryan Roberts.
24-yard gain for Roberts on the Moriah 26-yard line. First down and 10, Saranac Lake. Roberts again up the middle. He's going to pick up 3 more. Nice block on the inside by Jeremy Rich, number 13.
Yeah, and Saranac Lake is running pretty vanilla right now. Nothing fancy. Right now, they're content to run the clock as much as they possibly can and keep the ball out of Moriah's hands.
Here's that run again by Roberts.
Yeah, and this is one of those, you know, this isn't going to work. Back up the other way. And all of a sudden, Saranac Lake, a nice block that way in the middle that time. And winds up picking up something where it doesn't look like he's going to.
However, this time he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Third down, 8 for Saranac Lake with 8:46 left in the third quarter. He sees the field so well. He and Charlie Martin just see the field so well. Even the smallest holes, they seem to see and just run through.
Well, the bad news is Charlie Martin's a senior. The good news is Ryan Roberts is a junior.
Said the same thing about Ryan Rittel and Charlie Martin last year. Remember that? That's Roberts. He takes the handoff around the end once again, and he's going to be held short of a first down. He will pick up 2, but it is 4th down and about 5 from the Moriah 20-yard line.
Tackled by Wright.
And it's going to be kind of an interesting play call for John Raymond. If this is 4-down territory, it is, obviously, but you're up by 36 points.
Well, I think whatever it's going to be on the ground. Maybe something outside to the wide side of the field, I would think, possibly.
Well, the Redskins will go for it. 4th down and 4 from the Moriah 20-yard line. Little draw play. Roberts can't handle it, and it's a fumble, and it's picked up by Wright on his own 25-yard line. So, for the Redskins' first turnover of this afternoon, 1st and 10 Moriah on their own 25.
Well, you know, you don't want to see a turnover, but at the same time, it's the same as having the play not work and it get turned over on downs. Really, Saranac Lake doesn't lose anything, and really, Moriah is going to have to go the better part of the field in order to score, so you really don't lose anything from that turnover.
7:36 left in the third quarter. Moriah would love to put at least 6 on the board here in the third. Scott Nephew under center. I formation again. Quick pass, and it's batted down by Devlin Cotter.
I'll tell you, he's been active. You know, when they start looking at who they're going to pass out the all CVAC honors to, one of them better be looking at Devlin Cotter because he's had some good games for them. He's created plays, even when he hasn't had sacks, he's been involved in plays that have resulted in them. And that time just got the old mid up, knocked it down.
Cotter has 4 tackles so far, 1 sack, 2 hurries, and now a batted down pass. Not a bad afternoon on the line. Nephew again. This time he hands it off to his tailback. That is Sprague. Sprague is going to pick up a couple before he's pushed back to the line of scrimmage. And a couple is really about it. 3rd down 8 for the Vikings.
And again, they're put into a passing situation, but of course Saranac Lake knows they're going to pass as well. They're just bringing in their people as well. Josh Fed comes out, and they bring in Jeremy Rich and Jim Donis.
Gary Mandy, who came into this game ranked 8th in rushing, he's been pretty much bottled up. He's the fullback.
This must be the equivalent of the nickel package for Saranac Lake because they have Rich as a linebacker, actually.
Nephew back to throw. And it's intercepted.
Granish.
Intercepted by Scott Granish, number 60. And returned back inside the Moriah 25-yard line to the 24.
There's that funky graphic again. I like that. Scott Granish, and I'll tell you something. The key to being a linebacker is that you have to know how far you need to drop. And that time Saranac Lake playing a zone, and he just made a perfect drop and was right there between the receiver and the ball.
Well, the Redskins 1st and 10 at the Moriah 23-yard line. Wishbone formation, double tight end set. That is Roberts. Roberts into the secondary, and he stopped at the 20. Roberts is so explosive. That first step.
And Chris Lapierre now at quarterback.
Yep, Chris Lapierre, number 4, is the new quarterback. He picks up 7, 2nd down and 3 for the Redskins. And there's the interception. Granish just stepped right in the line of that pass. He's able to reach back and haul it in and then return it for 5 yards. Handoff up the middle to Ty LeClaire. He is the fullback in that wishbone formation. It's close to a 1st down. Let's see where they mark the football. I think he's going to be just short. He is 3rd down and a short 1 for the Redskins. He did pick up 2, though.
Well, I'll tell you, last week, Saranac Lake, I think, used 10 different running backs. I mean, it was getting pretty bad. I think they were going to take them off the chain markers and put them in because they were so effective against Ticonderoga.
From the Moriah 19, 3rd and a short 1. Roberts picks up the 1st down and finally tackled by Wright, who stepped up that time from his cornerback position to make the tackle.
Tackled by Wright.
I think Wright has had enough of being pushed around in the secondary. He made sure that Ryan Roberts went down hard.
Yeah, well, you know, again, there's, I think, some frustration there on the part of Moriah. You know, Saranac Lake is just really running the clock right now, which is all they really want to do. Moriah, on the other hand, like to get some things done, just aren't able to do it.
Cochran on the near side, Finnegan on the far side as receivers. Ryan Roberts up the middle. And he's going to pick up 2, maybe 3 yards. They're going to credit him with 2. So, on the Moriah 15, 2nd down and 8.
I have to tell you about something I heard during the radio broadcast last night. Ducky Drake and Jim Amarello were doing the broadcast of the Tupper Lake Seton game, and they referenced the fact that this game was taking place today, the Moriah-Saranac Lake game. And I got the distinct impression from listening to Jim Amarello that he didn't think that Moriah could beat Saranac Lake, but he was kind of hoping that they would at least scare the poop out of them. And that's the first time I can say that I've actually heard any broadcaster use that expression. So
He was wrong.
yeah, I guess he was.
Ty LeClaire is going to pick up 4 on that carry.
It was, I kind of did a double take when I was listening going, huh? But, I think when a lot of people see this score are going to be shocked that it was as wide open as it really was, because even us, we were expecting this to be a closer game.
I had no idea. I really thought that this was going to be a nice quiz, a little bit of a test for Saranac Lake going into next Saturday in the Apple Bowl in Peru. Ryan Roberts, he's got enough for a 1st down and goal to go for the Redskins again, knocking on the door of the Tupper Lake goal line with 3:30 left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, you know, what can you say? I mean, you get your 2nd string in, and I mean, there are coaches that would kill for this second string. I mean,
this second string would be an above 500 team in this conference.
That's right. You know, so I mean, you know, you have to be. And the other thing is, you know, you can see the legacy of Saranac Lake and what they have coming back next year.
Yes.
And this is going to be a real good team next year, too.
That's Chris Lapierre, quarterback option, and he's going to run it in for the score from 5 yards out.
Chris Lapierre carries the final 5
42 to nothing. Our score, Saranac Lake leading Moriah.
for the Redskin touchdown.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you know, they're solid. They're so solid they scare you, really, because they have the ability to do so many things. And, you know, to be honest with you, they do so many good things well that you don't know where to defend them. You know? I mean, you can't load up in any one area. You really can't.
Well, we now have our third place kicker. Kasuda. Lapierre to hold. There's the snap, ball down. Kick is up and it's blocked. Never really had a chance. Kasuda approached the ball a little bit late. However, the score remains 42 to nothing with
I think he was standing on the 40-yard line to deliver that one. He looked like he took a real deep drop. A little bit too deep, maybe, but...
High school football on Cable Channel 22 being brought to you today by Adelphia Cable, your link to everything. The community of Saranac Lake now enjoying 49 cable channels, including Cable Channel 22 and 8 premium channels. The community of Lake Placid will receive the same excellent variety of cable entertainment in mid-December. Tupper Lake viewers will enjoy expanded cable service in early November.
And here's the touchdown by Lapierre. Just goes right down the line on the option, decides to keep, not pitch it out. And, you know, what could you say? As solid as it could be. I'll tell you, though, you have to take your hat off. And, you know, if you're Tupper Lake, John, you got to be sitting going, ha, we were able to hold them to 35.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Tupper Lake probably very happy they had to face Saranac Lake in week number 1 rather than the final week of the season. And the Redskins kicking game, very impressive. From the 10, that's right, still on his feet, close to the 30 and stopped at the 29-yard line. A return of 19 yards after a deep kick.
Yeah, and the first string is coming back out on the field again. I think we're talking, it's a mixture of first and second string, but I think, again, you know, there's a conditioning factor here that they have to deal with going into Peru, that they have to be a little bit concerned about it. If they're pressed and have to run all 4 quarters, they need to be ready to do that.
How about arrogance, though, for Saranac Lake? Will they go into Peru, you know, maybe a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky? We scored 51 against Ticonderoga. Right now we've scored 42 against Moriah. We've yet to be tested. Nobody is as good as we are in Section 7. Talk about that after the play. Handoff to Sprague. Sprague is met at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, I don't know that you have a right to be arrogant when the team that you're facing's beat you the last 5 years in a row. I mean, you know, if nothing else, I think this team has to say to themselves, we haven't accomplished anything unless we can beat Peru in the Apple Bowl. And I think that has to be their attitude going in, and I think that will be their attitude going in. I don't think they're real cocky about the score. I think that that what you're going to see from Saranac Lake is we have to beat Peru because we haven't been able to do it.
No gain for Sprague. Second down and 10. Nephew back to throw. And he finds Java. Caught made at the 35-yard line.
Java the Hutt.
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good play. It's that out pattern that they've been running. The one play they have had some success with on a regular continuing basis has been that short out pattern, good for about 5 or 6 yards, and they took advantage of it again.
Well, let's look forward for Saranac Lake, and their final regular season game is against Saranac, and that one on the road. Then they're going to take a week off with a Class B Super Bowl game. So for about 3 weeks, though, if Saranac Lake comes out of Section 7 as the titleist, for about 3 weeks, they're really not going to be tested going into the state playoffs. And that's going to that's going to result in a downtime for Saranac Lake.
Well, you know, I would think that, you know, but, you know, if you're going to see downtime, generally you're going to see it in games like they've been having, you know, where, you know, you get ahead in a game and then you lose your focus. And this team doesn't lose its focus. They stay focused. That's one of the things I like about this team is, you know, even now, they're up 42-0, but you don't see a lot of breakdowns in this team. You know, and I think, you know, that's key.
4th down and 5, a low snap. Nice high kick. Some distance to it. It's going to take a Moriah roll to the Redskin 29-yard line, and Wright will down it right there. So 1st and 10 for the Redskins from their own 29-yard line. 63 seconds left in the third quarter, 42-0 our score. Redskins on top.
I'll tell you something. I think Saranac Lake gave them one that time, because if they wanted to block that kick, I think they very well could have. But, you know, at this point, Saranac Lake is just interested in getting this game over with. They're not interested in getting anybody banged up, injured, or anything. And again, we're seeing first-string people going out. Well, we saw one go out. Dustin Plummer went out. Now he's coming back in.
Yeah. That's it. Lapierre, still the quarterback. Donis at the sidelines. That's Roberts. Roberts tries to break one tackle in the backfield, tries to break another. Can't break the second one. He's going to lose as much as 6 yards on that. 2nd down, 16 for the Redskins.
Yeah, he was trying his darndest there, but just a situation that, you know, Moriah had him pinned and didn't let him loose that time. I'll tell you, Granish has had a good game. He has been solid on the offensive and defensive lines. You know, he's a guard on the offensive line. On the defensive line, he's a linebacker, one of the best in the business, and he should be all CVAC. I think if he was, I think it'd be the 2nd or 3rd time he has been, because he's just been rock solid for Saranac Lake. The people that Saranac Lake has to count on, the seniors, have stepped it up this year and have really played good football.
Well, we are through 3 quarters right now. Redskins leading Moriah 42-0. Today's sponsor of high school football on Cable Channel 22, Adelphia Cable, your link to everything. Coming soon to Adelphia Cable, they'll be offering optional digital service, digital video, and digital audio. We'll have the 4th quarter. High school football continues on Adelphia Cable Channel 22 in just a moment.
What is the secret of happiness?
Realizing that everything is interconnected.
So all living things are connected to each other.
Well, that too. I mean, Adelphia is connected to everything. Your TV, phone, computer, even home security. Adelphia is your link for everything. I get vibrations just thinking about it.
That would be your pager.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, welcome back as we move into the 4th quarter. And during that commercial timeout, John Raymond was walking along his bench and within earshot of Roy and I. He's not going to let his kids rest. He wants the shutout.
Yeah, hey, you know, that's what you want. You know, you send a message to the whole league when you tell them, you know, hey, we've only given up 7 points so far this year. We want to keep it that way.
I think they've already sent a message, though.
Oh, I think they sent it. I think they sent it FedEx, if you want to know the truth.
Roberts caught in the backfield. There's a flag down on the play. Maybe holding against Saranac Lake. This one may be called against Burns. Yeah, it's a clip. That's a Burns trailing on the play. An illegal clip against him. That's going to be walked off from the point of the infraction.
Clipping against the Redskins.
Well, if you're Peru, and we touched on it about Moriah, and Moriah obviously scouted the Ticonderoga-Saranac Lake game 2 Friday nights ago. How do you prepare against Saranac Lake? I mean, you have seen the full gamut of what the Redskins have to offer. Now, how do you narrow that down and say, you know, the Redskins are going to try to do this, they're going to try to do that. Now we've got to stop this first, and we've got to stop this second.
Well, my thinking is that I think you have to defend the outside and you have to defend the pass, because those are the plays that Saranac Lake's scoring on, and I think you have to make Saranac Lake beat you off tackle.
Okay.
Saranac Lake has not been beating people off tackle. They've been beating them around the ends, and they've been beating them through the air.
Lapierre back to throw, and completed to Burns. At the original line of scrimmage, and Burns is knocked out just inside the 31-yard line.
That was a nice throw that time by Lapierre. Did a good job rolling out, finding his receiver at the end, and Burns did a nice job tucking it in. I don't think Saranac Lake was interested in a first down. I think they wanted to get a little more room for their punter, you know, so that he wasn't looking at his own end zone.
So 4th down and 10, and the Redskins kicking unit comes onto the field, the return unit for Moriah.
And you know, I have to tell you this, when I say that make Saranac Lake beat you between the tackles, that's not to say Saranac Lake can't. They just haven't done that or haven't had to.
No, they really haven't needed to do it. Rich, the punt. High kick, spiral kick. And it takes a Moriah bounce, and Van Deen will down it at the Moriah 43-yard line. Well, we know Coach Raymond wants the shutout. Moriah would love to get on the board here with some type of scoring.
Remember, they had the opportunity. They had 6 staring themselves straight in the face, and they let it get away. And again, Brian Wright is a very talented, gifted receiver, and one of the best we have in the CVAC. And you won't see him drop one very often, but he must have taken his eye off the ball to look at the receiver or something, and it just fell through his hands. And
Oh, he was so wide open, he may have been looking at the goal line.
yeah. He had the play he wanted, and out and up. Oh, well, it happens.
1st and 10 for Moriah from their own 43. Nephew, he is flushed again. He's going to tuck it away, and he's going to run it. Oh, he's able to deke and duck underneath the tackle of Cochran and then fall forward for 4 yards.
Yeah, you have to tackle him low because there is no high.
No, there's not a lot there to hit.
Yeah, and but he did a nice job getting out of trouble because Saranac Lake had really put the heat on him, and he managed to step up and not finding anybody in the secondary. And again, that's good secondary play by Saranac Lake. Saranac Lake's showing a dime package here. You know, bringing in donuts, bringing in extra corners and safeties, and playing them up in certain passing situations. They kind of showed it to us here today.
2nd and 6 for Moriah. From the 48-yard line, looking over the middle, incomplete, short hops into the arms of Billy Orr.
Yeah, he tried to hit Bill Orr, and he tried to do the same thing he'd done with Brian Wright over the middle in the first half. You know, throw it low where only he could get it, and that time he threw it a little too low.
You know, though, he does throw a pretty crisp football.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does when he has time, but Saranac Lake's done a good job of getting on him all day, and they really haven't given him a lot of chances to actually set his feet and make the crisp passes that he needs to make in order to be effective.
That is the tailback, number 42, Jeff Evans. Evans into Saranac Lake defensive territory, but well short of a first down by a yard and a half. 4th down and 1 coming up for Moriah. How about Gary Mandy, the fullback? You and I had talked about him on Monday. We talked about him while we were enjoying lunch between games. He would have to play a big game if Moriah was to be successful, but he's been out of the mix since the first quarter.
He's been an invisible man, really.
2 down territory for Moriah. Evans with the carry again. Evans, his second effort will give him the first down.
I think there was a fumble, though. I think there might have been a fumble after the...
And it's Saranac Lake football.
Yep.
Recovered by the Redskins.
Yep,
Evans.
graphic again. I like that.
I like that graphic.
Yeah. It's nice to know. If just in case, you know, sometimes we may not know it. If they call the graphic and we don't see it, then they get to do this job. But until that happens, I think, you know, when you look at what happened here, and when Bill Mitchell looks back and says what went wrong, I think the answer to this whole thing, despite the fact that they've added a passing element, they have not been able to run the ball and run the ball consistently. And if you can't run the ball consistently, Moriah does not have an offense.
No.
Because I think their passing game is designed to feed off of the run. You know, and if you can't run consistently and run between the tackles, and really Saranac Lake has taken that off-tackle play away from them completely in this varsity game, I think, you know, you have a problem because you're not a passing team. You're a running team that also passes, and that's the difference.
LeClaire only 3 on the carry. 2nd down, 7. That time, handoff is to Roberts, men in the backfield, and he's going to be thrown for a 3-yard loss. 3rd down and 10 for the Redskins.
And credit Jeremy Carpenter that time, who went out and forced Roberts to go wide, change his direction, and as a result of that, wound up becoming a loss.
Well, for the Redskins, the rest of their schedule looks like this. They do have Peru next Saturday. They've got Osable Valley. They have Seton Catholic, and we will see Seton Catholic right here at Ken Wilson Field, and then they close out their regular season schedule against Saranac. Then they take a week off during the Super Bowl, and they'll have a chance to see who their Section 2 opponent will be should they represent Class C from Section 7. That is Lapierre. He is gone, and Lapierre is going to score on the quarterback option. That is a 55-yard touchdown run.
And that's the best of the graphics.
That's not a bad graphic.
Hey, and again, a missed tackle. You know, you can't miss tackles against a team like this. I mean, we're gonna diagram this, and we're gonna try to run this for you in slow motion when we have the opportunity. Maybe we'll even try to get the telestrator on here because really, okay, let's watch this and watch how he's going to come around on this play.
Okay, let's start it right here.
Yep, let it go, and let's watch it, and let's see where the pressure comes from. Right there.
If you can stop it right there.
And watch him come around, and he's going to go right up the gut to the end zone.
Look out, John Madden. Roy Christopherson with the telestrator.
And there
Point out
it is.
the try is good.
And Katsuda gets the extra point. I think he lined up a little closer to the ball that time.
49, Moriah nothing.
The scoring statistics for the Saranac Lake Redskins on a season basis are going to run about a page and a half because of all the people doing PATs.
Well, do me a favor here, Roy. You brought some of these statistics coming into this weekend, and who is ranked where offensively and defensively, and some of the leading rushers and defenders inside Section 7.
Well, Jimmy Donis right now is by far and away the leading quarterback for the CVAC. 14 out of 26, 53.9%. Completion rate and a quarterback rating of 162.17, and they use the NCAA system, which is a completion percentage plus yards per attempt times 8.4 plus touchdowns.
One more time, without looking.
Yeah, really. I mean, I don't know how they do this. As far as other people, Brayette of Plattsburgh is the second-rated passer. Nephew from the Moriah, who we're seeing today, third. Ryan O'Connell of Peru is the fourth-rated passer. We'll tell you some of the other statistics after the play.
All right, that's right. With the return.
Nifty run that time.
Yeah, he's
Dodged
able to
a few
dance.
different people.
Able to dance to the 33-yard line, his own 33-yard line, first and 10 for Moriah from right there.
Dwayne Godfrey is leading the CVAC in rushing. I'm not sure that's a big surprise, but Godfrey, we understand, has a broken hand.
I guess it's an outside bone towards his pointer finger, and you were aware of that on Monday when you were listening to the ball game against Seton Catholic
He
last
hit a
Saturday.
helmet with it. He hit a helmet, and that's how he broke it. But
And his backup running back, the number 2 on the depth chart for Peru, also is suffering from a broken hand.
yeah, and for Peru, he's had 59 attempts for 501 yards, an 8.5-yard average, 9 TDs. Big running back, strapping running back, and is one of those guys who probably gets better as the game goes along.
That's Sprague with the carry, once again for Moriah.
Zach Adams of Seton Catholic, 416 yards. Corey DeZalia of Ticonderoga, third at 395. Then comes Charlie Martin at 384 and Ryan Roberts at 369. And that's the one that really catches your attention because, again, they don't play in the same backfield.
No.
They spell one another. And when you have a first and second string running back and they're in the top 5, I mean, that just is staggering in my mind.
You know, last year Ryan Rattel broke the all-time rushing record in the CVAC. They needed that from Ryan Rattel to be a successful club. Now it's you know, it's a 1-2 punch with Martin and Roberts. They're not going to win the rushing title this season. All right,
No.
Godfrey has claims on that if he can stay healthy. However, if they can keep those two in the offensive line clicking the way that they are, they've got to look forward to the state championship.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, and remember when Saranac Lake played in the state championship a couple of years ago, they faced I think it was Leroy, if I remember
was.
correctly, who had 2 rushers who ran for over 1,000 yards in the season. I mean, you know, it's great to have 1, much less have 2. I mean, you know, that just boggles the mind, really. But, you know, that's the kind of quality you need in the backfield.
We have a new quarterback in, by the way. That's Carpenter. Carpenter, welcome. Carpenter sacked.
And, you know, talking about other things, in receiving, Zeron of Ausable Valley, 25 catches already after 4 games. And he has a freshman quarterback. His name is Kellen Nolan throwing to him. So we're going to see 3 different passing attacks, 3 different weeks. This week with Moriah, next week with Peru, and then the following week with Ausable Valley. The next ones are Chris Dubé, Thomas of Peru, and Thomas of Ticonderoga all had 7 catches. Then we had Brian Wright of...
Line drive kick. It's going to sail over the head of Matt Dara, number 26, of the Redskins, and fall out of bounds on the far sideline. So Redskins first and 10 from their own 38-yard line.
Then you have Brian Wright, who's in this game with Moriah, Barry of Plattsburgh, Tommy Finnegan of Saranac Lake with... Well, let me take that back. Barry, it stops at Barry with 6, then 5 each for Finnegan, Savard, and Fernia of Peru, and then on down. But Zeron, 25 catches. That's amazing. Scoring, Godfrey, 56 points already. The next one is Charlie Martin with 36, 20 points behind him. Jeremy Rich after that, 31. Roberts after him with 30. So that tells you how Saranac Lake's been scoring. They're all over the scoring column.
They may not win the
CVAC.
rushing title, but one of them could very well come away with the scoring title.
Well, you know what's so enjoyable to watch the Saranac Lake team is they have so many weapons. You know, you've seen last year with Ryan Rattel being the big gun, and of course with Peru, Dwayne Godfrey is the big gun. But, you know, it's nice to see a team play like Saranac Lake does, and that's what they do.
Yep.
I think that's Jason Hubbard.
Yeah, that is Hubbard, number 40. He's going to be thrown for a 2-yard loss, 3rd down and 8 for Saranac Lake.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what's enjoyable. And if you're a defensive coordinator, I take pity on you because I don't know where you're going to begin. They have so many things. And, you know, a lot of it starts with the offensive line. They have such a good offensive line, Saranac Lake does. You know, tackle to tackle on the ends. They've got good flankers. I mean, where do you begin?
LeClaire up the middle, he breaks one tackle and then is hit very hard by Tom Sadler, number 55. Ball almost jarred loose, but LeClaire able to hang on to it. He picks up 3 on the carry, 4th down and about 5.
It seems like this team is so good that it's almost criminal to play them 11 on 11 because it just doesn't seem like with 11 guys you can really do it justice.
We spent a lot of time talking about the skill position. How about the lines, though? Offensively and the defensive lines, we spoke with Raymond during the interview. This may be the best line of scrimmage on both sides of the football that he's had in maybe 5 or 6 seasons.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, you know, if you can take your line, especially on defense, if your line can control the line of scrimmage, it gives you so much more freedom with your linebackers and your secondary people to do an awful lot of different things that you wouldn't normally be able to do if they have to come up and support the run. And really, Saranac Lake is good enough to support the run almost without the linebackers and secondary.
Redskins, by the way, lose the football on downs. Ty LeClaire a yard short of the 1st down. So Moriah 1st and 10 from Saranac Lake's 43-yard line.
And this is a big challenge for Saranac Lake because Saranac Lake wants the shutout, but they've given Moriah the ball on the Saranac Lake side of the field.
Well, I thought they were going to leave Cochran in as a first-teamer. He now heads over to the sideline, and the Redskins will try to stop Moriah. Moriah's first team, much of their first team, with their 2nd unit defense. What a great day for football.
Oh, absolutely perfect.
However, Carpenter stays as the quarterback, and Carpenter, as Al Davis would say, for the Oakland Raiders, he must go down, and he must go down hard. He did straight with the sack.
Matt Street got in there, and he tried to outrun Matt Street, and it didn't work.
No.
Matt's got a sack on the statistic sheet for this year, and he's going to remember that. If he has no other plays today, he'll remember that sack.
The pursuit speed of the Redskins defense.
They're out-quicking everybody. They're out-quicking everybody, you know, and that's what the key is that they're faster than everybody, and they utilize that speed in so many different ways that it's hard for defenses to match up against them.
Loss of 11 on the quarterback sack, which, by the way, happens to be the 4th so far for Saranac Lake. Back to the line of scrimmage as Moriah tries to run it up the middle. Ball carrier was Briggs. No gain. 3rd and 21. 1:39 left in this one. Redskins 49 unanswered points. 49-0 our score. No way did we expect this.
Yeah, and I don't know if we mentioned it, but Saranac Lake is ranked 15th in the state among C schools. So we are being recognized even on the state level, although I think we probably should be a little higher than that. But we talked about that in between games today, too.
Well, that's because I don't have my vote this year. Fumble on the snap, and the Redskins recover on the Moriah 45-yard line.
Need a funky graphic.
That's right. Want to remind you again that Adelphia Cable is our sponsor of high school football on Channel 22, and they are your link to everything. They now offer long-distance telephone service, 10 cents per minute with a $4.95 monthly fee, 14 cents per minute with no monthly fee, and Adelphia Cable offers 24-hour service 7 days a week with an on-time guarantee. 1:06 left. Moriah just wants to get off Ken Wilson Fields with a little bit of
Lineville's going to
help.
look good to them today.
I know it. However, I think that's going to be a long bus trip home.
Yeah. But, you know, I think, you know, at some point you have to sit there and say to yourself, hey, you know, we just faced a better team. You know, and you don't like to admit that. You know, no coach likes to, no player likes to. But, you know, I think in all retrospect, I think you sit down and you say, hey, Saranac Lake's got a special team this year. They ran over us. We're not as bad as 49-0, but they're that good.
And the other thing you can tell your kids, too, Tupper Lake lost last night. We lost. The Class D race is in no way, shape, or form affected. We are still the #1 team in Class D. As Lapeer takes the knee, and that's the last play that the Redskins have to run, and they win this one by a score of 49-0. So Moriah, I mean, they are still the first-place team in Class D. Their big game comes up against Tupper Lake in 3 more weeks. 49-0, our score. Saranac Lake beating Moriah. We are going to take a look at our post-game results